That's so true, I think, Carol, that one little thing we can do to help us through one day and into the next. That's right. And I'm with you, Mary, in the fall cleanse, uncertainty, lots of resistance coming up about creating restrictions in my life right now. I think in part because life feels so challenging, and really wanting to move into something like that with a sense of willingness and not a fight, because I'm feeling so much struggle everywhere else, and not everywhere else, but in a lot of places. So I really appreciate that, Carol. Little things, or even what you're saying, Mary, you know, just little bits I can do with nutrition and rest. And even our little conversation at the end of class last week of doing that one restorative pose, supported pose for 10 minutes, and that kind of aha of like, oh yes, let's do this. So yes, I am grateful to be with you all today, and whoever will join us on the recording. Barbara, hello, and I believe Nick will probably be with us, and Katie on the recording. So,
hello, Katie. Hello, Nick. Hello,
yeah. So I wanted to actually begin with sharing a poem that was just sent to me by a friend in the Para Yoga community. That someone, I actually don't know this woman, Elandria Williams is her name, and she is in the kind of general Sangha of Vishoka meditation, or maybe the Himalayan Institute, or maybe Para Yoga, I'm not sure, but it's a woman that I don't know, and she passed away this weekend, and my friend Jo shared a poem she's written recently, and I wanted to share it with all of you as we began. So let me just pull that up, and you can lie down or you can sit, whatever will allow you to feel comfortable and in a receptive space of listening. And I'll kind of guide you into a little stillness before I read. So either sitting or lying down, letting your eyes close or softly gazing at one space if you're not quite ready to close the windows to the world. If you're sitting, allowing hands to rest in the lap. If you're lying down, maybe hands rest down by your side or even rest on your belly. Allowing the jaw to soften. The facial muscles to relax. And as Deskachar writes and teaches us, we begin where we are. So first and foremost, you simply acknowledge the state you are in this moment. Ideally resisting the urge to judge or make a comment about the state you are in, but rather allow the state to be in full acceptance as we come together either in this moment or on your own time later to do this practice and to continue to explore ourselves through breath, through movement, through rest and meditative practices. So this composition is by Elandria Williams, and it is titled, "We Are Worthy." We are worthy not because of what we produce, but because of who we are. We are divine bodies of light and darkness. You are not worthy because of what you offer, not because of what is in your mind, not for the support you give others, not for what you give at all. We are worthy and are whole just because. In this great turning, in this great pandemic, in this radical readjustment and alignment, we are not disposable, we are needed. We are the very people that have withstood everything that has been thrown at us as a people. And as Maya Angelou would say, still I rise. We arise from the pain, we rise from the grief, we arise from the limits people place on us and the limits we place on ourselves. We rise to be the children and the ancestors. We rise to be our true selves in relationship to our families and communities, recognizing our liberating and whole selves, honoring them and others as we strive for abundant communities, abundant lives, abundant relationships, and abundant values and cultural manifestations. We are worthiness personified. I, you, and we are worthy and deserve a life where we are not always fighting for our existence. Imagine what we could create if we were not always in the struggle. Imagine what we could envision if we could just be let to go, just there. So tired of always having to resist, to fight, demanding, pushing. To everyone that has the courage, the power, the ability to co-create what we want and need while rooting in what we can't lose and who we are. You are the visionary. You are the hope. You are our ancestors' dreams. No, you might not ever end up on some list somewhere, but you are on a list in someone's heart and mind. And if it's in how you move in the world so people can see by example, you are the embodiment of what we need. Thanks to all that are the embodiment not of productivity, but the embodiment of radical love, care, and sanctuary. It's time. Embodiment time. Embodiment, living one's values out loud. Let me every day live my values out loud. Let us every day live our values out loud, embodying our values, not the productivity quotient, beyond productivity, past productivity, true embodiment, life. Elandria Williams. Be aware in this moment of your own embodiment, the great gift of being alive, of being in physical form. Feeling gratitude for your own capacity to move, to breathe, to be. We're going to take a few inhales and exhales, exhaling through the mouth with an audible sigh, breathing into the belly, whether you're lying or seated. Exhale through the mouth. Continue on your own. Being with the sensation of the breath as you feel it entering the body and leaving the body, noticing the sounds, the sensations of the body receiving and releasing breath. The breath both nourishing and cleansing. Allow yourself to breathe like this, maybe 3 to 5 more times, softening with each cycle of breath. Good, and then we'll start to move, and depending on what your space is right now, if you're lying down, stretch the legs long and begin to rock the heels a little bit, so you send a wave through the spine with that rocking action. And if you're in a seated position, begin to either sway the spine side to side or make circles as though you churn the pelvis a bit with the spine, right? So either rocking the heels back and forth if you're lying down to create that wave through the body, let the head be free so the chin is rocking a little bit in response to that movement. And then if you're seated, either swaying side to side, or a movement I've been really enjoying lately is swirling, kind of sensing my spine as though it's stirring the pot of the pelvis, going in both directions if you are doing the churning action. Allow the breath to be free, the jaw soft. And then in the next moment or so, allow the body to move towards stillness and be aware of sensation, be aware of the residual effects of whichever movement your body guided you to. Good, and then if anyone is still in a seated position at this point, we'll come on to the back. Lying on the back, we'll cross the elbows over the chest so that the forearms are right above the chest line, elbows holding on to each elbow with the opposite hand. You can bend the knees now if the legs are outstretched, feet on the floor. Inhale here. And on the exhale, slide the arms over to one side. Inhale, center, slide the arms over to the other. Inhale, center, sliding over to one side. So many of you, I think, have done this before with me. We often do it at the end of class. Creating a little lubrication for the shoulders. You may also feel this in the pectoral muscles. For instance, as the arms drop over to the right, you feel that compression along the left pectoral, sort of internal massage. If you find you want to hang out on one side, you can stay there for a few breaths. Exploring any range of motion, exploration of movement. You also may find one of the next times you come through the center, you switch which arm is on top. And then eventually allow the arms to rest down by your side. Smooth inhale and exhale. Good, opposite arm and leg activation. Sweep the left arm overhead, straighten the right leg long. Press the heel away from you. Exhale, lower the arm, slide the knee back in, foot on the floor. Inhale, sweep the right arm overhead, extend the left leg long on the floor, press the heel away from you. Exhale, slide the foot back in, bending the knee. Same thing, opposite side, sliding the leg long as you breathe in, and as you exhale, slide in. You can keep going just like this. Or if you like, as you exhale on this next one, you can draw in, hands to the knee, pulling a bit in. And you'll go back to that opposition. Inhale. On the exhale, the knee pulls in a little more, hands to the shin or thigh, draw in. Or just stay right where we were. Starting to deepen the breath and slow down the breath here, breathing in and out through the nostrils, hearing, feeling the breath in the throat. Next time the left leg draws in, slide both legs out. Inhale, sweep both arms overhead. Stay here for a few breaths, stretching side to side, kind of imagining there's something you could press the feet onto. You press the right foot forward, left foot forward, arms slide, elongating, same side, same time. So my right arm reaches as the right heel extends away from the body, left side expands. And then draw everything in, rocking a little side to side. Then we'll sweep the arms out into a T, keeping the feet lifted, right? A variation of dynamic twisting here. So allow the right thigh and right leg to drop open, and then the left leg comes to follow it in the twist. And now left leg leads. In the center, the legs are open in a straddle. And then as you exhale, take it over to the other side, right leg follows. Now right leg leads, inhale. Exhale, allow the left leg to drop over to the right. Inhale, open up. And exhale to the side. Good. Keep going, make it your own. One more time, finishing with going to the left. Great, and then coming through the center, roll over onto a side, and we'll come all the way to all fours. So I do have something today that I can utilize as a strap, so strap or scarf or something in your space. Coming into table pose, deep inhale, heart forward. As you exhale, tuck the toes, hips go back and up, downward dog. Staying here for one breath. And we'll do that same movement again. Deep inhale, lowering to the knees, gentle, soft gaze forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, hips go back and up, downward dog. One breath in downward dog. Soften the jaw, gaze is soft. One more time, lowering knees down, deep inhale. As you exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Good, any movement in downward dog that you'd like to explore, maybe pedaling the feet or shifting side to side. I'd like today to be an opportunity for you to find fluidity, movement or exploration in some of the poses. We'll do some different things ourselves, but you also are invited to get creative or listen to what's happening in your body so you can move in ways that feel right for you today, in this moment. Great, on your next exhale, allow the right leg to come forward. If you want to come to the knees first and then step the foot forward, that's fine. Lowering the back knee to the earth. Root into the right foot a little bit more. Walk the hands up to the right thigh. Soften the shoulders, all right? If you want some extra padding under the left knee, go for it, sliding a blanket or doubling up the mat there. And we'll just rock back and forth a little bit here. If you'd like to coordinate it with the breath, as you inhale, shift back. As you exhale, shift forward. Slowing down the breath, being with your own embodiment, witnessing the breath, following the movement of the body. But next time you come forward, stay there, sweep arms up. As you exhale, bend the elbows, root down into the legs a little more. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, bend the elbows, open the chest. 2 more. You can bring the elbows all the way down by the waist, like you're trying to pull the elbows toward each other behind you. Last one. Squeeze, 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 pull the upper arms back. Good, and then lower the hands down. Slide that right leg back. You can transition into downward dog or child's pose. One more smooth breath here. And then left foot comes forward. If you're in child's pose, sliding up to table, then stepping the foot forward. Root into the left foot more. Walk the hands up to the left thigh. And that rocking back and forth a little bit here. Inhale, shift the hips back. Exhale, shift forward. And then the next time, come forward into the low lunge, stay there, sweep arms up. Big breath in. As you exhale, bend the elbows, root into the legs a little more. Keep the stability in the lower body as you move in the upper body. Exhale, squeeze in, maybe play with drawing the elbows closer toward each other, upper arms pulling back. Navel draws in and up, one more time. Allow the hands to come down toward the earth. Step the right foot up to meet the left. Standing forward fold. But if you have a strap or something, or maybe you're able to hold the hands and you don't need the strap, we'll interlace the hands overhead or clasp the strap and let arms come overhead. Bend the knees any amount. Send the knuckles toward the sky. Give the head a nice shake, yes and no. The breath stays fluid and nourishing. Again, if there is any movement that feels available in the body, shifting the bend in the knees a little bit, shaking the head, or even moving the arms a little bit side to side as one unit. Release the clasp of the hands or the strap, whatever you have. Find a supportive base in the legs here. That might mean taking them wider or balancing out the 2 feet a little more. We'll walk the hands up, taking a variation of Utkatasana, chair pose. Balance weight between the 2 feet, hands at the chest or palms at the heart, or you could take that same movement we did with the arms earlier, taking them out into cactus or even squeezing elbows in. One more breath here. And then coming all the way up to standing, out of the camera. And adjust. Good. If you're not at the top of the mat, you can step to the top of the mat, finding the breath here. Deep inhale and exhale. Inhale, sweep both arms overhead. Clasp the right wrist with the left hand. Exhale, lean over to the left. Stay for one breath here. You can look down or forward. Inhale through the center, switch the other clasp, holding on to the left wrist, lean over to the right as you exhale, stay for a breath. Inhale, center. As you exhale, sweep arms out into a T, bow forward, chin in as you fold. Inhale, extend, grow the length of the spine. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, step back into plank. Feel free to use the knees here if that's helpful. We'll stay 3 breaths in plank pose. Soften the jaw. On the next inhale, perhaps rocking forward if you're still on the tippy toes. Exhale, lower all the way down to the earth. Untuck the toes, sweep the hands to the low back. Inhale, float the head and chest up. Stay as you exhale. Inhale, float a little higher. Exhale, stay. Slide the hands by the chest, elbows in. Now use the strength of the arms, maybe floating a little higher. Exhale through the knees into puppy dog or quarter dog, maybe tenting the hands if you like. Forehead comes down toward the earth. If your head doesn't reach, you can place a blanket or something there so that the head has something to rest on. Palms can be flat or fingertips tenting the hands. Lift the forearms and elbows and armpits away from the earth. 2 more breaths. Good, slide the hands back by the knees, tuck the toes coming into Malasana at the back end of the mat. We're going to widen the stance a little bit here. The heels may or may not be on the floor and you can take it as wide as you need. I'm actually gonna widen mine a little bit more. My Achilles just are pretty short. Then placing the elbows on the inner thighs, creating a little movement here side to side. And then we'll twist in this position, all right? Make this movement your own. Left hand comes to the earth. Inhale, sweep the right arm up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale to the other side. Exhale, lower down. Let's switch the breath. Inhale in the center. Exhale, twist to the right, opening up. Inhale in the center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Now straighten the legs, feet parallel. Exhale, fold forward. If the feet are wider, maybe bring them in a little bit closer. Roll up through the spine. Find yourself at the top of the mat, allowing a few nourishing breaths to come in. And then rolling back down. Exhale, rounding down through the spine. Hands come to the earth. Walk the hands forward, back into plank pose. Taking just 1 extra breath this round in plank. On the next exhale, lower all the way down to the earth. Inhale, baby cobra pose. Stay. Hands to the low back. Inhale, float a little higher. Stay. Interlace the hands, send the knuckles toward the heels, float up even higher. Stay for 2 breaths. Root the tops of the feet and the pubic bone down into the earth. And then floating all the way down. Hands by the side chest. Inhale, and as you exhale, press all the way back, downward dog. And then walk, lunge, step the feet up toward the front end of your mat. Inhale, float up halfway. Exhale, bow toward the earth. Inhale, come the whole way up to standing. And exhale, palms to the heart. Take a soft, smooth inhale and exhale here. Okay, so we'll play around with that same flow sequence 1 more time. Inhale, sweep arms up. Clasp the right wrist with the left hand. Exhale, lean over to the left. 1 breath here. Inhale through the center, switching the clasp. Exhale to the other side. 1 breath here. Inhale in the center, exhale, hinge from the hips, chin in, sweep arms out to the side. Inhale, grow the length of the spine, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow, bend the knees, step back into plank. One extra breath in plank. Inhale, rock forward, lowering all the way down to the earth. Sweep the hands out wide here for funky cobra. Off the mat, perhaps tenting the fingers. Press into the fingers, lift up, deep inhale. As you exhale, drop into the right shoulder, turn the head to the left. Inhale in the center, drop the left shoulder down, stay rooted in the fingertips. Inhale, come up, moving with your breath. Stretching across the chest and the pectorals and the biceps, 1 or 2 more rounds. Inhale in the center and exhale back down. Slide the hands by the chest. Inhale, baby cobra pose. Exhale through the knees back into puppy dog. Tenting the hands if you like, or you can keep the hands flat. The hips stay high, forehead down to the earth. This time, if you do tense the hands, or if you do have the hands tented, go ahead and flatten the palms so you can have a little more security in the rooted hand. And as you flatten the palms, create that isometric engagement as though you're dragging the hands back toward the body while the elbows and armpits stay lifted. Slide the hands back by the knees. Here we move into the squat, tucking the toes. Take the feet a little wider. Elbows come toward the inner thighs or knees. Rock a little side to side. Good. Inhale. This time, straighten the legs. Come up. Exhale. Bend the knees. Move into that twist. Left hand down. Right arm up. Inhale. Straighten the legs. Arms lift up. Deep breath in. Exhale, come down, right hand to the earth, twist. Now stay down, inhale, center, left hand to the earth, exhale, twist. Inhale, center, exhale, twist. Both hands to the earth, straighten the legs, heel toe the feet in to support you. Couple of breaths in Uttanasana. Interlace the hands around the backs of the legs, or it's not so much interlacing the hands. I usually just grab a hold of one wrist or maybe clasp opposite wrist. And then bend the knees a bit and begin to round the back. Drop the head, create some pressure or some engagement as though you're trying to lift the forearms through the legs. Create a little more expansion in the upper back. Press down into the feet. Release the arms, slowly roll up. And a breath here. And then rolling down. We'll wind our way back to the start. Exhale, fold forward. Walk the hands forward all the way into plank. Use the knees if you like, lowering all the way down. Inhale, floating up, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower down. Chest stretch here. Right arm goes out to the right side, elbow bent. Left hand staying by your side. Right arm at a right angle, roll over onto the right side, opening the chest here. You can bend that left knee if you like, or just let the left leg dangle back behind you. If the left knee is bent, you can place the foot on the floor, cross the right ankle over it. Smooth, nourishing breaths into the right shoulder, chest, wherever you're feeling sensation across the arm, back, and chest. And slowly release this side as you're ready. Mindfully roll through the middle, setting up the other side. Left elbow in line with the shoulder, maybe just a tad higher, palm flat on the earth. Turn the head to the right and roll to the left hip. Slowly coming back through the middle. Hands to the low back, allow the elbows to drape down. We're not drawing the arms away from the earth. Elbows drape down. Let the arms continue to dangle down as you lift head and chest up. One more breath here. Head and chest stay lifted as you shift the position of the hands by the chest. As you're ready, exhale all the way back, downward dog. 3 breaths in downward dog. And then at the end of that 3rd breath, walk, step, or lunge the feet forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Inhale all the way up to standing. And exhale, palms together at the heart. Allow the eyes to close if that feels comfortable to you. And be aware of sensation in the body, the heart beating. The vitality is starting to build as you bring more movement and lubrication to the joints and tissues and cells. Okay. Good, here I'll grab my strap. Or scarf or whatever you have here. Work a little bit in the chest and shoulders. I like to take a slightly wider stance here. You can find what feels best to you, and my hands are quite wide on the strap. Inhale, sweep arms over. Exhale, take arms behind you, mindful of overarching in the lumbar spine. You keep a little bend in the knees or maybe some abdominal engagement to protect the back there. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, go back, and then it'll be inhale to rise up. And exhale to come forward. A few times like this. Pulling taut on the strap or scarf, whatever you have. Good, and then we'll find that sweet spot behind you where you feel like you could hang out for a few extra breaths, maybe shifting the weight a little side to side or moving the arms behind you a bit. My elbows are bent here. And then arms shift overhead. Kind of a variation of that side stretch we were doing in the vinyasa flow, but now with the strap, pulling taut on the strap, root into the feet a little bit more. So in this case, my right foot, I want to press into it a little more to create more expansal on that whole right side, sending the right knuckles away from the body. Going to the other side as you're ready, root into both feet, draw the tailbone into the body a bit, taking that lateral stretch, pull taut on the strap. And then as I root into the outer left foot, I extend into the left knuckles a little bit more. then coming up through the center. Relax the arms down, let the strap go, and we'll just swing the arms a bit here. Okay. Right, I'm going to show you the next thing that we're going to do, because I think if we were to get down and start it to feel a little kooky and wild, it's already going to feel a little weird. Just gonna move. I don't think this chair is right. Okay. So you're going to be off the mat probably a little bit here, kind of moving in a kind of side to side fashion. So essentially we're going from plank pose into side plank. And then we're gonna roll on our backs to go to the other side, trying to just move our bodies in some different ways today to create a little more exploration and sense of embodiment. So the movement will be, if I'm in plank pose, right, and I'll try to mirror you here as I explain it. I'm gonna come onto the outer edge of the left foot and open up into side plank. Deep inhale. And then now on the exhale, it's like I'm going to thread the needle with this arm. I'm gonna roll down, bringing my hip down. You can use the knees if you like. Roll onto my back. And now come up and open up into side plank on the opposite side. Deep inhale. Exhale, threading the needle. Use the knees if you like. It's not really as graceful as threading the needle. Roll to the side and press back up. All right, we're going to do it a few times. Here's what it would look like. I'll show you from the side if you're using the knees. Okay, so you're on the knees, you open up if it's available to you, and then you can come down, slide back out, roll on the back, use the knees, press up, inhale, open. If you're on wood floor, you just may want to give yourself a little more go the other way on your mat so that your knees are supported on the mat. Right, let's give it a whirl. So we're going to come into plank pose or downward dog. Find the breath. Rock forward into plank if you're in downward dog. Lower to the knees if you're using the knees. Inhale, open up into side plank, sweeping left arm up or right arm up. Whatever arm goes up is going to thread underneath. Lower the body down, roll onto the back. Inhale, press up, side plank. Exhale, thread the needle, lower the body down. And switch to the other side. Inhale, open up, side plank. Use the knees if you like as you wedge under. Last one. Inhale, side plank. Threading that right arm or left underneath. And pressing into table pose. And exhale, child's pose. Sweep the hands by the feet. Relax the arms. Few slow breaths here. Notice the heart beating. Notice sensation in the body. One more slow breath in child's pose. Good, and then slide the hands under the chest. We'll sit up and spin around, swinging the legs forward. Hands come behind you, fingertips point forward. Bending the knees, feet on the floor, reverse table, root into the feet. Inhale, lift the pelvis up, root into the hands, gaze toward the belly button, stay as you exhale. Inhale deeply, and exhale, lower the pelvis down. Resting breath here. Same thing again. Inhale, press the pelvis up, draw the tailbone into the body, flatten the feet as you exhale. Stay for a breath. On the next exhale, lower the pelvis to the earth. Last one, resting breath here. Inhale, press up. Stay as you exhale, root the feet down. Imagine there's a block between your thighs or pillow, squeeze it. And on the next exhale, lowering everything down. Coming into Sukhasana, cross-legged pose. If you want to grab anything to elevate the hips, might just slide a blanket underneath the pelvis. Hands rest on the thighs or knees. But now you can stay right here in Sukhasana. You don't have to do any other movement. If it's accessible and available to you, you can move into double pigeon here with the right leg over the left, stacking the shins. An alternative for this is to place a block in front of the knee and you can rest the foot there. But if there's a lot of strain to find this posture, I would recommend simply staying in Sukhasana here so that there is not a lot of struggle or tension in the pelvis and low back. So either Sukhasana or double pigeon here, sitting tall. Find the smooth, nourishing breath again. Then we'll take eagle arms here with the right leg on top, left arm goes on top. Wrap the forearms. If this isn't available, you can hug yourself, wrapping the hands toward the scapula. Root the sits bones down, whatever variation of seated posture you're doing. Lifting the elbows to shoulder height, forearms press away from you a bit. You can drop the chin. As you know, I'm really enjoying movement in this posture. You could create some movement up and down. If the left arm is on top, you might even play around with taking the arms or the whole unit over to the right. Explore, be with the breath. And as you're ready, you can release the arm engagement. Keep the legs in crisscross or stacked, and we'll begin to fold forward any amount. Allow the breath to drop into the belly here, smooth, nourishing belly breathing. And then coming up, we'll switch the cross of the leg. So if you're in Sukhasana, simply other leg comes in front. If you're in double pigeon, switching which leg is on top, which might be the left at this point. A few breaths sitting tall. And we'll take the opposite arm, so right arm on top now, wrapping the forearms or hugging yourself. Elongating the spine with your inhale. The chin can draw in ever so slightly, and then any movement you'd like to explore here, feel free. As you're ready, you can let the arm action go. Hands come down by your side and perhaps folding forward any amount. Even just shifting the torso forward an inch or two can really shift what's going on in the legs or the pelvis or low back. And slowly coming upright. Good. Feet go wide, knees bent. I'm going to come off my blanket here. Do a sort of seated windshield wiper twist, right? So dropping the knees to one side and then the other. Supporting yourself on the hands behind you, take your time. And then coming into the center, expanding the legs a little wider than the mat. Knees can stay bent here. Hands can come on the floor in front of you, or you can support yourself here if there's a little less mobility. And as you come forward any amount, hands can rest on the floor, or maybe simply resting on the shins. Or if you like, you might work the arms and wiggle the forearms underneath the calves or the knee pit and bow forward here. Slowing the breath down. If you do have the arms underneath you any amount, you might work the inner thighs closer together, just energetically, and maybe send the heels forward, beginning to straighten the legs any amount. Whatever variation you're doing, slowly release, walk hands in, slide the legs in. Just a few breaths in Dandasana. Hands can rest on the thighs or knees or down by your side. Allow the eyes to close. 2 to 3 more easy breaths here. Transition onto our backs for rest. You have a bolster or even maybe rolling up a blanket or anything to place under the knees, by all means. Allow yourself to get comfortable, warm, and cozy here. And if you find there's something else your body would like you to tend to, for that embodied rest as you lie down, take the time to do that now. No hurry. As the body settles towards stillness and relaxation, you can let go of shaping the breath, trust the body to breathe on its own. Scanning the body to sense, is there any adjustment I'd like to make? Anything that might provide just the slightest bit more comfort and support. Softening the face. And taking a moment to witness or observe the sensations in the body. as the body rests. Meeting yourself where you are. Observing where in the body you feel heightened presence, prana. Remembering that prana wants to expand. The vital life force wants to move and grow. In your own way, allow the rest of the body or the whole body to be receptive, to be open to the expansion of pranic vitality, healing, luminosity as it moves through you. Slowly allowing breath to gently drift back into the field of awareness. Be aware of the body resting on the earth. And allow movement to originate wherever it wants to originate. Whatever part of the body is compelled to begin moving, allow that to ripple through the rest of the body, reawakening, reemerging, moving freely and guided by your own body's wisdom. Eventually making your way upright into a seat. And here we're going to transition or finish with some seated practice, Brahmari Pranayama, the humming breath, inhaling through the nostrils, exhaling with a hum. Noticing, tending to the vibration created by the sound, both in the head space, but also in the resonators in the chest as well, if you can sense that. Settling into stillness, into the experience, the legacy of your practice. Inhaling smoothly, exhale with a hum. Continuing on your own. Allowing the mind and the awareness to be pulled into the sound and the sensations themselves as they unfold in the moment in you. One or two more. In the silence, allow awareness to be drawn down toward the heart space. The breath, so gentle. You might even feel as though the pulse of breath unfolds at the heart. Or simply allow awareness to land into the sensation and experience of your own heart center in this moment. would like to hold space for you to continue to sit for a few more minutes. If you're mindful of the time and need to move on, feel free to guide yourself out of the practice and transition, but I'll stay here for a few more minutes in stillness, resting in the heart space. If you feel the mind floating outward or expanding, come back to the presence of breath at the heart. Allow that to be your anchor. Savoring in this moment the power of being, your own embodiment. You are enough, just as you are. Slowly coming back to the feeling and presence of the breath, the body, and space. And taking this final moment to offer your prayers, healing the gifts of your own practice outward to someone or a higher aspiration or intention. Bowing into yourself, palms come together if you like. Breathe in, breathe out. And opening the eyes as you're ready. Thank you. I hope you have a nice afternoon and week, whenever you're practicing this on your own time. See you all next week, if not before. If you have any questions, let me know.